Zealand Stitch Bird. I've moved into my new space, but as you can imagine, I've got lots of sorting to do, so I thought I would take you on a little bit of my journey today, going through some of my fabric that I have. I've had it for years, and I guess if it's not made up now, potentially it will never be made up. So there's some pieces that I feel are not my colours, are probably a little bit limited in what you can make out of them, and items of clothing that I don't particularly need at the moment. So I'm going through these pieces and making a decision. The pieces that I'm keeping, I'm actually starting to keep a bit of a record. So when I get a bit stuck and I don't know what to make, I can look in my notebook and think, right, I've got 2 meters of that particular fabric. I thought I could make a jacket out of it. And so I've got a bit of a plan. Anyway, enjoy the process. Catch you soon. Well, I've set up a notebook here that's got my material, the quantity of the material that I have, and the potential pattern that I might use. So just to the left of me, I've got some lovely wool fabric. I've measured out, it's about 2 meters. And I have got these amazing washi fabric ID tape labels. Comes in a roll from Kylie and the Machine, and you can write in the type of fabric, meterage, your own notes, where you purchased it from. It's excellent. Moving on to my next piece. This is a piece of tartan plaid wool, and I'm just going to measure out and see how much I've got there. I'm thinking it's about a 2 meters again, but it's quite wide. Being that it's a plaid, I'll need to sort of watch my pattern matching. So I'm thinking about the Simplicity jacket pattern, which I've already made before, Simplicity 8797. It's a very basic pattern, so the plaid would be an easy match for that one. Also, for the previous wool, I was also thinking about the Cleft Coat by Love Notions. So I'm just folding my fabric up. So these are definitely a keep, both of these. I can see them being in my wardrobe at some point. If not, they're actually quite universal fabrics to potentially make up for somebody else, suit a lot of different people. So I'm not ready to part with these 2 pieces yet. And there's enough meterage to actually get something out of it. So there we go. That's my lovely tartan. I'm pretty sure I bought that from a fabric store in Auckland. So yep, a wee bit of a special piece, that piece. So that's going back into my stash. So I'm keeping a note of everything that I am keeping. So with the pattern ideas, if I'm needing to make a coat, I can just go to this little book and just see which pieces are potential jacket pieces. So I'm hoping eventually I'll be able to categorize all my fabrics so I know what I've got. So if I'm wanting to make a knit top, for example, I can just look up and see what knits. This piece here is a jacquard piece, and this was actually a designer fabric from a label in New Zealand called Anna Stretton. I bought it from their fabric store online. They primarily sell ready-to-wear fashion. She's a New Zealand designer, and this fabric, I've had it for a long time and I've been umming and ahhing about it, but it is a lovely weight, and I thought it could potentially make a interesting sort of more of a trench style coat, or potentially a pair of really jazzy pants in the right style. And I've got quite a bit. I've got about 2.5 meters of this, and I think largely it's potentially a cotton. There might be a bit of poly or rayon in it, so it's quite an unusual fabric. And plus, because it's navy, I really like navy, so another keep. Nothing to destash at the moment. So writing that information down about that one. So this process does take a bit longer, but I think in the long run it will be worth it because I'll have quite a comprehensive list. And I'm thinking I could also enter it in the computer and have a generated kind of database. Now this piece is not a full piece, but it is a black knit, and it's stretch. So I'm thinking because it's about 1.2 meters, I'll definitely get a little summer top out of this and a little black top to wear under something that's maybe sheer. Black's not normally my colour, but if it's a underpiece used for layering underneath things, I think it would be quite a good thing to have. So that piece, I'm just trying to tidy up all the ends, make it nice and neat, rolling it up. And that's the big thing, if I fold everything up neatly and it's labelled, I'm going to easily be able to find my pieces. I've created 2 little miniature wardrobes in my new sewing room. I've got one that's got woven fabric stashed in it, and then the other one I've got all my knit fabrics. So that makes it really easy. If I'm choosing to make a knit project, I go to my knit wardrobe, and vice versa. If I'm wanting to make a woven, I can go to my other wardrobe. So jotting down the information, and I've just put a top, but I'm thinking it would be more of a tee, like the laundry day tee. I've got the cashmerette t-shirt pattern, or it could be even a wee sleeveless top. Right, we're just digging in the box to see what we can find now. Now this piece here, it's not showing up very well on the camera. It's like a brushed cotton. I think potentially it might have a bit of wool in it. It's actually a very nice piece of fabric, but I ummed and ahed and I looked at it and I thought, actually, this is not my colour and I don't think it's going to do anything to me. So that one is going to be a donate. I've decided to donate all the fabric that I'm not going to keep. It's kind of not worth my time trying to sell it, and I have a colleague at work that teaches sewing, so I'm going to donate it so that the students can make something out of it. So here's another piece. It's only a short end. I don't see me using it. It's not an exciting piece of fabric, so that's another donate piece. This is a wee piece of red cord, and you're probably wondering, why would I think about keeping this piece? Well, I measured it out and I've actually got about 1.5 meters, and I think it would make a really cool skirt for winter wearing with tights. Just something really, perhaps A-line or something really simple. So I've decided to keep that, and if I don't make it up this winter to wear, I'll definitely be donating that at some point. So this is a good way to keep track of things, and perhaps I should be also putting the date on my little sticker label. That's another thing I should be doing, and then I'll know how long I've had it or when I last looked at it. So it will give me an idea whether it's actually going to be potential. So I'm sort of thinking about skirt patterns. I'm thinking I've got a Ellie Mac, I can't remember what it's called, but it's got buttons or a zip down the front. Something like that would be really cute. Moving on, I found this piece of fabric which has got a lot of sparkle in it. It's very, I guess, quite elegant. So I'm sort of thinking this would make a cute wee jacket. There's about 1.8 meters, and I don't know whether I'd squeeze it out, but even like a wee smitten jacket would look really cute, sort of looking like a denim jacket with wee pockets, and I would put metallic buttons on it, or just maybe just a really simple style jacket. I'd have to look through my patterns, but that's one that comes to mind. I could do a wee jacket and it's frays very easily, so I could do the frayed edges around the front and even around the cuffs to add a little bit of interest. So that's a potential for that one. So that one goes away, and my next one is another piece of fabric which is a bit of a brush cotton. I didn't waste any time with that one. I thought that is not going to suit me. This one I sort of thought it was potential. It's like a brushed I don't know, uncut needle cord, and I thought it's just going to mark too easy. However, this piece, very similar colour, that's why I decided to donate the other piece, but I'm going to keep this piece. I can see this would have a better drape. I don't think it's wool. I'd have to do a little burn test to find out, so at some point I should do that. So that's something you can do if you're not sure whether it's wool or polyester. If it burns, it will, and it's really, really quite strong smelling. It can be wool. If it melts, it can be a polyester. Anyway, there's about 2.5 meters, and I was thinking for winter this would make a lovely pair of nice thick pants, or potentially another jacket. And you're probably thinking, gosh, these are all jacket fabrics. However, I do like a jacket as opposed to wearing a cardigan or a jersey. I think jackets really can be made to uplift or sort of make an outfit a bit more dressier. Even pairing it with jeans and things, I think it's quite cool mixing the two. Moving along, this piece here is leftover mesh from my Quinn cardigan, and it made a lot of mess. It just seems to drop stuff everywhere, and I've decided I've got one, there it all is there. I've already got one thing made out of it, so I've decided to donate the rest of it. The kids might find it quite interesting to work with. It's a bit of a different style of fabric. So that one's to donate. This pink shell fabric, I sort of looked at it and I thought, I'm not actually going to make anything out of it. I could donate it, but there's actually about 3 pieces. Altogether is about 2.5 meters. I think it would make an amazing lining for a jacket. So that's another thing to think about before you destash a fabric. Think about other possibilities. I think this piece would look really amazing as a lining in a jacket. It's just very pretty. Even, you know, doing it in a contrast, say you've got a lime green jacket with the pink lining, would look amazing. An orange jacket with the pink lining, you could do something pretty cool. So I've written that down as a potential lining if I'm looking for a lining for a jacket. So I'm labeling that one, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to make a separate pile for sort of pieces like this and store them in another container, so I've got all my linings together. So that's the plan for that. So that basket has been emptied, which is fantastic. And I'm going to move on to my next basket, which is a piece of finishing fabric that I bought to cover a armchair, and I have covered it in that fabric and it looks amazing. I even did a wee step stool in it. It looks really chic. However, one of the arms has got a little bit of mark on it, so what I want to do with this fabric is make a couple of arm covers. So I'm going to put that to one side, and I've labelled that's what I'm going to do with that piece. And oh my goodness, another piece of pink shell, so that can go with the other lots. So I'll just amend that label. So that's good. I've got quite a bit of that to work with for a lining, which will be awesome. And these pieces, I've come across another piece actually previously that someone gifted me, and I thought I'm never going to wear this fabric, and I did end up using it for a lining in a jacket. So that's another way you can use things up, or lining a bag, or some of the smaller pieces I come across, if they're suitable, I use them for lining pockets, that kind of thing, or lining yokes when you don't quite have enough fabric. I did consider this piece for lining as well, but it's very thin, so I've decided to donate that piece. This piece, however, is very cool and is a perfect lining weight. So I've decided, yes, I'm going to, rather than make anything out of this, I'm going to put it in my lining stash as well. And I think I had, was it about 1 metre of that? So I thought that's potentially, it could line something like a skirt or maybe part of a jacket. You could do the sleeves in something different. So that one is going away as a lining piece for now. And the next piece coming up is a cotton piece. It's a green and white stripe, and again I think I've only got about 1 metre of that, and I sort of ummed and ahed, would I keep that? I'm just not sure whether I would ever use it, but I decided because it's a colour that I would wear, I would keep it for maybe adding cuffs or pockets or a collar to a plainer top. Again, it could be used for lining for pockets in denim or something like that. I thought that could potentially be an option for it. I do quite a bit of craft sewing as well, so it could make a really good bag lining and lining the inside of pockets and that kind of thing. So that potentially is a keep. So I've managed to get rid of a few pieces of fabric that are going to be donated, but at least I've got a plan for some of them I'm keeping. That piece there is a leftover piece, small piece of red, I've decided not to keep that. This I purchased from Draper's Fabrics in Auckland, and it was a remnant, and my plan for this piece was to make, it's actually lycra, is to make a wee lycra tank to wear under things. So I really need to get onto that. So it's reminded me that I've got this piece. There is about 1 metre. I believe I will have enough to do some kind of cami or tank. I might use the Love Notions loungewear pattern and do that wee cami or something like along those lines. So I've written that in my book to remind me. So this list already is going to give me quite a lot to think about and go back to when I've got a bit of time and I don't have anything sort of planned to make. So I'm really happy what I've managed to get through today. These last few pieces are just small pieces, and I've decided that they're going to go. So I'm really pleased with what I've got rid of, and I'm pleased that I've got a bit of a tidier pile that I can store. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my destashing. Bye now.